If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I've been sent to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
Now, here's your host, DJ Host with the Most.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your host with the most, your Snap DJ, and it wouldn't be right and wouldn't be something normal if the podcast wasn't late, which it happens kind of almost every week. But I had good excuses this time because, of course, they came out with the datamines with all of the new cards that are coming out for 2 months that are coming up. So we will talk about those in the beginning part of the show, and we'll cover all that. We'll go over all those. Of course, we had an OTA that dropped as well, which we will talk about also, amongst many other things. And of course, we have new cards that came out this week that we will talk about. And we have all the other good stuff to talk about as well. We'll talk about some characters in Comics Corner as usual, and my picks of the week. And then we've got a lot to talk about even on the movie side of it. We've got a lot going on with Marvel. Spider Noir, of course, is shown a trailer, brand new trailer that came out. And Nicolas Cage, of course, being in that. That looks amazing. Can't wait to see that. Of course, that'll be coming on Amazon in just a couple of months, I believe. You all know me. And yesterday, of course, was Friday the 13th. And I've mentioned my fandom of that series many, many times on the show, and how it got me into like horror films and everything like that. And I absolutely love Friday the 13th. When I did my wrestling podcast yesterday, I had hockey masks on during the podcast. So I obviously go all out for that day. And there was a lot of announcements yesterday too. A lot of things that they had merch, a lot of merchandise going on, places selling T-shirts and things like that. And then, of course, we got an announcement from NECA, the toy company, that are using it's kind of odd. Like, they're using the Friday the 13th name, but they're using it as Friday the 13th, the game, which the game is now done. Like, the game doesn't even exist anymore, really. It's not really playable. But they're using that name to make figures, which is kind of weird. It's got to be some kind of legal loophole or something that they're using to get around with. But anyway, they're making some of the figures that have never been made before, and Part 8, Jason, is the big one. That's the one where he was in Manhattan, or hardly was in Manhattan. There was only like one scene literally shot in Manhattan. The rest of it was in Vancouver, Canada, if you did not already know. And because they wanted to save money. But they came out with, they showed that. And they showed the Savini Jason, which is Tom Savini's special creation character that only appeared in the game. And then they're also doing Part 9, which is that's my most hated Friday. I cannot stand that one. That's Jason Goes to Hell, and I hate it. It's literally the worst film in the series, I think. But yeah, it was cool. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of horror things that came out yesterday, and I was enjoying that. And of course, today is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I know that I have an app on my phone that's like a card collector app. And the only reason I knew that there was another one, but I have one for wrestling, which I've had for a while now. It's just basically just open packs and collect cards and stuff like that. There's no monetary side of it or anything like that. And, sometimes you get lucky and you get like a rare card and stuff like that and stuff. But that's really all it is. It's just a collector type of app. And I noticed that there was a Marvel one made by the same company. So I've been doing the same thing with that. And they, of course, had a lot of Valentine's cards out today. They had a Peter Parker and Mary Jane card and a bunch of different stuff. I got a Galactus, actually. Not related to the Valentine stuff, but there was a Galactus that you could trade in like other duplicate cards of that to kind of like level it up and make it a better one. And of course, I got enough to do that with the Galactus card, so that was awesome. But yeah, so it's been a crazy couple days, a lot of stuff going on, and of course, you being Friday 13th, I always have to watch at least one Friday the 13th film on a Friday the 13th. And I did. I watched Friday the 13th, the remake, which came out in 2009. And that was the last time that we have ever seen that character, Jason, in a movie and on the big screen. So hopefully that changes. The stuff with the Friday the 13th, the game, though, is just kind of weird. And I hope that that's not saying that the lawsuit thing is still getting in the way of all this. I mean, obviously, the series that I mentioned on here, that the Crystal Lake series, I was hoping to hear something about it or see like a teaser, which did not happen. But it is supposed to be released before the end of the year. And there are 2 more Friday the 13th this year. So I'd imagine they might use one of those for that. But yeah, and that, of course, they can't use the Friday the 13th name. They can it's called Crystal Lake. They can't really use the name there because of this whole legal battle that continues, I guess, to go on. I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's what we're going to be doing. Of course, we'll talk about the new cards in Comics Corner this week. We'll go over and we'll talk about Moondragon, I think, too, because I don't believe that I went over Moondragon last week, and of course, we got her card out last week, so. Just from all of you and talking to a lot of you throughout the course of the week, I know that a lot of people are probably sharing the same thoughts as I am, where a lot of people really kind of, at least from the audience who I speak to, are really not enjoying the meta. And I can understand why. I know that, look, there are, I'm seeing the creators who I watch play, like Binks and like Dexter and others like that, they would kind of waylay through their way through into Infinite like the first week of the season, and they are having a problem. Like I think Binks just hit it the beginning, like a few days ago, and Dexter, at least that I was watching him earlier this morning, and he still has not, which is kind of crazy. He's usually always up there on the ladder, really high ranked and stuff. But yeah, people are having a problem. And look, it's, a lot of people are kind of feeling that the game's a bit oppressive right now with the Star-Lord stuff now, kind of just replaced the Shao Lao stuff. And it's just jumped from these big cards to other big cards. And, people are, wanting some action taken on some of these big oppressive cards. Fin Fang Foom being another one. Because it gets so big and it's so tough to beat. So it's that's the way it's looking in the game right now. And unfortunately, with the cards that we've gotten, I think people want the cards that we're getting to fix it, but they just aren't. They're just not powerful enough to do it. And they were hoping maybe Drax would do it, but Drax just. He's a cool card, and a cool concept, but he just doesn't get big enough to match these other decks. They just don't get that big power that the Star-Lord decks are getting, the Foom decks are getting, or even the continuation of the Shao decks and things like that. They're just not able to compete. And it's really making it kind of boring, and it's making it kind of tough, because if you don't succumb and play those decks, you're probably not going to win. You're probably not going to keep up. And yes, there are counter decks out there. The biggest one is the Super Giant one, I think, that has Ronin and stuff in it, Master Mold. But I'll tell you, I've tried that one a few times. And it is so dependent upon a card or two and when you get to play it. And if you don't, you lose. And it's just that simple. So there just is really nothing. And I know we talked about this last week on the show. I talked about Shang and bringing old Shang back and things like that. I'll tell you, I don't even know if that would help at this point either, because a lot of these decks with Star-Lord, they don't do anything the entire game. And it's the same kind of thing with with the other ones. They're not going to probably have priority very often. And so by the time they get going, it's turn 4, turn 5. It's very difficult to kind of stop what they want to do. And most of the stuff they want to do is last turn. It's like the Hela deck where, they're just going to throw everything out at you on the very last turn of the game. And that is extremely difficult to counter anyway with anything that's going on. So, yeah, I mean, you guys can let me know. And I know a lot of you have shared your comments and stuff. And I know a lot of you are saying similar things where it's like, I just don't have any interest in playing in this meta right now. And that's why I think people have turned toward, they had another limited game mode. Of course, the champion, the contest of champions thing, came back out. And, so I know a lot of people have been trying to turn to things like that. Some of you have even told me you're playing Conquest. And some of you have told me you're just not playing the game. And that's not good, for second dinner. That's not good for the game, to do that. So I think that, I don't know. And looking down the road, and we'll take a look down the road. We'll get a sneak peek on some of these data mines that we're going to talk about in just a bit. But I'll tell you, I don't know that I'm seeing anything that is going to equal those cards in power, or going to stop this particular meta. And I know a lot of you were hoping too that we might see a quick change in the OTA, but I really don't think that that's ever going to happen that way. I don't think that they're going to ever nerf a season pass card, especially only 1 or 2 weeks into the month. There's no way they're going to do that, because it would just cause them to lose too much money. And so, I don't really see that ever happening anytime soon. And I'm sure that maybe before something happens to Star-Lord, I think that they'd probably nerf Fin Fang Foom maybe. But, I don't know what they're going to do with him. I mean, maybe instead of both characters in the front line there, that maybe he'll just take power from one. Maybe that would be a good fix. Certainly taking points of power off of him isn't going to do it. That's not going to do it. So maybe it's just going to be, randomly choose one of the characters in your opponent's front row and steal that power. So, you could always get pretty screwed that way, right? Because if, let's say you have a small card in the front row, and which is just like a 1, and you don't really have any other powerful cards there, then he's not really going to get much of anything. So I think maybe that would kind of solve it a little bit with him. You could always maybe make it cost more and make it an 8, but you could still reach that pretty easily with Star-Lord, So I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't have the answers as to what it's going to be, but I can tell you just from looking at the next few months, I'm not necessarily seeing things that are going to be enough to switch out of it. And that kind of stinks, because there are some cool cards coming and a new cool mechanic and stuff like that with Age of Apocalypse and things. But I just don't know, if they're as good as Shu Lao or they're as good as Star-Lord were. Really, they're just turning out just really overpowered season pass cards. Which again, I get that, they want they want the season pass to be the best cards, but they are really just churning out really good ones. So anyway, that's the start there. I know I go off on little tangents there a little bit, and I apologize for doing that, but it's kind of a what's on your mind type of thing to start off the show. So we're going to go over and we're going to talk about the data mines And again, just always remember with these, there's a disclaimer, and they're not finalized. They're not even guaranteed in any certain way, shape, or form. So just keep that in mind. So let's look at April 2026. And so this is, and again, we don't, the names for these aren't out yet or anything like that. So we really don't know what the name of the season is going to be, although it looks to be related to the Techno organic virus. So it looks to be related to that. And so it's obviously going to be a little bit of X-Men flavor and stuff like that in it. And so the premium season pass card is going to be Strife. Strife is a 4/6. And again, you got these objectives here, right, to continue from Age of Apocalypse. So the objective is play 3 on reveal cards. And then once you do, it says use the highest cost on reveal in your hand. So when you complete the objective, it says use the highest cost on reveal in your hand. So I'm guessing he will do that. So once you complete that objective, you have 3 on reveal cards out on the board. Then he is going to use the highest cost on reveal card in your hand's ability. Very, very good on reveal stuff. I mean, this could be, what uses a ton of on reveals? Wow. This could be a destroy deck using Zola, highest cost, right? So it'd be a 6 cost. This could be, trying to think, Mr. Negative uses a lot of on reveals. Gore could be one. So you'd end up having like an extra Gore here or a null or something. So, could even be used for Galactus, right? Because he'd be an early 4/6 and like an early way to get the OG Galactus down, where he would use Galactus's on reveal. So if you have Galactus in hand, if you have the objectives met, you can then you can play a turn 4 Galactus basically without waving or using Luna Snow and giving your opponent that edge as well to be able to use that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. And then we have the Super Premium, and the Super Premium is the actual Techno-Organic Virus. Now, this is a skill. It's 1 cost, and it says, on reveal, copy this to your hand with +2 cost. Infect your other cards here, and it says replace their text. Now, okay, so then it goes over this, and it shows the infected card. So it said a Techno-Organic Virus infection, and it is ongoing. +1 power for each Techno-Organic Virus you've played. So obviously you can keep doing this like multiple times because Techno-Organic Virus is going to get copied to your hand with +2. It's going to go to a 3, and then we go to a 5. So you can just keep playing it, and then keep infecting cards. And then it says ongoing +1 power for each Techno-Organic Virus you've played. So every time you play it, the ongoing gets grows. So it's kind of an ongoing list with like a new little spin on it. So that's kind of cool. Then, of course, in the season pass, we're getting new variants of Cable and Domino. And Conquest card is Morph. So we're going to get a variant of Morph in Conquest. So those are the season pass cards. And then we move on to the other card that we're getting for the first week, and that is the Wolverine Horseman of War. So we're still getting some of the Horsemen this month too. That's why they said it was a continuation of the Age of Apocalypse season. So Wolverine is a 4/3 with an objective that says this has 6 or more power. So his objective, of course, you have to buff him and you have to get him to 6 or more power. And when you do, it said give one of your cards at each location +3 power. Oh boy. Oh man, didn't they just nerf Maverick? Don't they ever learn? Seems like, buffing is pretty easy to do, man. Now, granted, he's a 4 cost, so you're not going to get him out till turn 4. But he is going to give one of your cards at each location a +3 power. So two times. So he's basically going to give, he's going to end up being a 4/9, right? If you count those other cards that he's pumping up. So I don't know, man. You can only look at existing cards and kind of compare him to Maverick a little bit, which is, Maverick is kind of dangerous. So that's why they nerfed him. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this one plays out. He is, the cost is higher. So, and his power isn't great. He's a 4/3, but I don't know. That ability is, could be a little scary. Then the following week's card is going to be Archangel. So, Horseman of Death. So this card says he's a 2/3. Objective, your cards are destroyed 4 times. So this would be good in like a Dormammu deck, obviously a destroy deck. And resurrect 1 here with +4 power. So the objective for him is your cards are destroyed 4 times. So you'd have to destroy 4 cards. And it says resurrect 1 here with +4 power. So that's pretty good. Let's say you're killing off a Wolverine. Let's say you're destroying a Nimrod, right? And it resurrects with +4 power. That's pretty darn good. And you could think of destroy players. You could think of many other things that you'd probably want to do. And he's pretty decently cost at a 2/3. So he sounds like he could be pretty powerful. The artwork on the card's awesome too. April 21st, we move on, and another horseman here. This is Polaris, the Horseman of Pestilence, is a 2/2. The objective is cards in play are afflicted with -5 power. Cards in play are afflicted with -5 power. That's tough because -5, you have to use Omega Sentinel. Which, you can do the shenanigans with Jocasta and her and Invisible Woman, kind of do it that way. Or you'd have to use Hazmat, for sure, but that's not going to get you to -5. So there's a good amount of thinking in this one. And let's see what the reward is. Put a card from your hand here. So, that seems to me a little too high of a payment. For what that has to do, especially when it has the same ability as Dragon Lord, who doesn't have that. Dragon Lord, of course, being a 5-cost card, so this is a 2-cost, but, you're really going to have to do other things to make this happen, so that it brings another card down. So why would you not just want to play Dragon Lord? It's not a 2/2, but still, there's so much to do here. And plus, you're going to have to play a toxic list to get this done in one way or another. So I don't know. I think I'd personally just for the ability, I'd rather just play Dragon Lord. Then we go to April 28th, and it is Storm. Storm is a 3/2. Storm, Horseman of Famine. The objective for her is end 2 turns in a row with unspent energy. Now that's something that they're really doing a lot of lately. Obviously this is going to get thrown into a deck with Star-Lord, because that's what you want to do. Give your other cards here and in your hand +2. So yeah, that's exactly where this card's going to go. So unless Star-Lord gets nerfed pretty badly, then this Storm card is going to go right in those decks. Because you only have to, or in the high Evo list with Star-Lord, whichever list you want to have with Star-Lord in it, this is a perfect card for it. Because you're going to want to not spend energy, right? Just like you already are for Star-Lord. She'll be out on the board at turn 3. And then if you get that, it's going to give your other cards here and in your hand +2 power. Dude, that's a lot. Let's say you have 2 cards on the lane, they're going to get +2, that's +4. And then let's say you have, 5 cards in your hand, that's +14. +14. Oh, wow, I don't know. Now granted, again, these aren't finalized. So this one really sounds like it could be busted. Especially with the Star-Lord decks and stuff like that. So if they don't nerf that, this looks like it really could be busted. All right. They're showing some new emotes. There's a new Wolverine emote for the Horseman Wolverine, and there's an Archangel emote. All right. So then we go on to. Oh, okay. So that is that it for the month? Yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah, April 28th. So there's, but we also have some Series 4s. Now this one is coming in April 23rd. Could be a limited time game mode. But this is Mother Ascani 4/4. On reveal, give the leftmost card in your hand +2 power and -1 cost, then copy it. So you're giving it +2 power and -1 cost, which is great. And then you're going to copy it as well. Okay. Sounds pretty decent for a Series 4. Now, these are unknown release dates on these. And these look like they're skills. One is called Return to the Past, and the other one is Garrison Kane. So nothing really on either one of them. No information yet. Return to the Past has a picture. Looks like Kitty Pryde. And then, of course, Garrison Kane is a character. So not really sure what those are going to be yet. Nothing really out there with them. Another limited time event. This is April 9th. Has... Ascani's son. This one does have text. Activate. Create a 1-cost card at another location. Increase the cost each time you're winning here as the turn starts. So if you put him out at 2 and you let him go, it's going to increase the cost of that card that he's going to put at another location. That's how I'm reading it. So if you let it go, and now you have to be winning as well. So it's almost like the Galactus Herald in that way. You'd have to be winning the lane in order for him to keep doing this. But he can get up to, you put him out on 2, he can get up to a 2, 3, 4. He can get up to a 5-cost card that you can end up throwing out on a lane by him or activating it at the end of the game if you let him out. Early enough, he could end up with getting a 5-cost card onto the board. Sounds pretty decent. Definitely different. Definitely like a different style card. So that is a quick look at April. That's the April season. Now we're going to go over to May. This one's going to be fun, man, because I love me some Daredevil. And, of course, March is when Daredevil comes out. And this is coming out a couple of months after that in May. So this is Daredevil Shadowland, which was a great book series, by the way. I will enjoy doing a lot of these characters in the Comics Corner that month. And let's see. Okay, so the season pass for this month, of course, is Shadowlands Daredevil. And that is the Daredevil in the black costume. And that is the one that you're going to get in the new series that's coming out as well. This one is interesting. A lot of people are going to play this card, and a lot of people are going to like it because they love them some demons in Marvel Snap, right? A lot of you guys love playing the demon. You love those demons. You love to do bounce and get a lot more of the demons and everything like that. Well, listen to this. On reveal, shuffle 3 demons into your deck. When you draw a card with 6 or more power, he gains +2 power. So you want to play with a lot of 6s to get him the power, but that's not what this card is probably going to be used for or matter much. Because it's an on reveal, you could continue. That's what I was just talking about, bounce. You can keep doing this, where you can literally keep filling your deck with 1/6 demons. Which, listen, you guys know that play the demons, how good these things are at the end of a game when you can just plunk down 1/6s all over the place. So, not sure exactly if he's going to be used for that purpose, but I don't know. This seems pretty good. You're going to get 3 1/6s into your deck. Now, they're going to go into your deck, so they're going to make the deck bigger. And there's no guarantee that you're going to see those cards. Because of the fact that your deck is automatically going to get bigger. So, but that obviously is a downfall. But then he does have this little extra thing with 6 or more, draw a card with 6 or more power. And he's going to gain +2. So if you have some big cards in your deck, he's going to keep gaining +2 for each one of those that you draw. So it's very interesting season pass. And then the super premium for the month is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin himself. He is a 5/9 and costs 3 if you have the highest power card in play. So he will end up being a 3/9, which that's very good for 3. I mean, obviously, a lot of people play Maximus because of his stat line and stuff, but he has that big drawback unless you're playing Ronin. But he would end up being he'd be a 3/9 if you have the highest power card in play at the time. So that's pretty good. Again, kind of similar to Galactus' First Steps, right? Like you want to have that high card, similar to the Shadowlands Daredevil, right? So I don't know. I mean, 3/9's pretty good. That's a pretty good stat line. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be very hard to get to work. So, inside the season pass, you're going to get variants of Elektra and Punisher, of course. And in Conquest, you have Jessica Jones. So a lot of Daredevil characters in every aspect of the game. All right, so May 5th, that's coming out, is the Punisher War Machine variant. So it says when you draw this, mark a location that's empty for you. So you're going to mark an empty location. And then this is another objective card. So objective is here to stay, guys. That's going to be more than just the last season. The objective is win the location for +1 max energy. So here we are again. If you win a location with the objective, you're going to get +1 max energy. So we're playing with energy again. And another card that's going to give you more energy. And he's a 2/2. So again, pretty reasonable stat line card here. That if he gets you that max energy or the +1 to your max energy, that's pretty good. That's +1 to your max. So you're going to end up with 6 energy. You're going to end up with +1 at max energy. That's going to be every turn, I would think, from the time that he's played. The next one, I'm excited for this one. Muse, man. I love Muse. He was in the last season of Daredevil. Love him from the comics. This one's coming out May 12th. He's a 3/3 ongoing. So an ongoing card +3 power for each location a friendly card has been destroyed in. So a friendly card would be one of your cards, I would assume. And so for each location, a friendly card has been destroyed in. So he's going to get plus. So obviously, again, another card that's going to fit in a type of destroyed deck where, he could end up being, if you have, sometimes you're going to move around locations anyway, right? Like if you have, and the easiest way to do this and to get him maxed out would be a Killmonger. Because if you have like your X-23 in one lane, and let's say you have, I'm just thinking here. Let's say you have Deadpool in one lane. It's gonna want you to spread these things out. So let's say you have a Wolverine in one lane, right, or something like that. But if you hit it with Killmonger, you can knock it all out probably in one turn. And then that's +3 for each location. You do it in each location. That's 3, 6, 9. He's going to be a 3/12. Pretty easily. I think you can easily do this with Killmonger, like I said. And it doesn't even have to, at that point, be a destroyed deck. You could play him in Zoo. You can play him in a Zoo list and just have a Killmonger there, wipe out a bunch of your ones, in turn 3. Maybe play a Shauna, and maybe you're even getting some ones you don't even really want for the rest of the game. You can just blow them up. And then just play him for a 3/12. Seems like a pretty easy 3/12 as well. So that's May 12th. Then we have May 19th. This is Lady Bullseye. She is a 2/2. On reveal, afflict an enemy card with -2 power. Repeat this for each of your unspent energies to a different area. So another card that's going to benefit from unspent energy. So obviously, guys, if you are thinking that Star-Lord is going away anytime soon, no. They are just making more cards that are going to help it. are going to be in different types of archetypes with it. So I kind of doubt that that card's going to really go anywhere anytime soon with all these plans with that same thing. So afflict an enemy card with -2 power. Her on reveal is going to do, and repeat this for each of your unspent energy. So let's say you have 3 unspent energy, you're going to get -6 power. -6 power with 3 unspent energy. And let's say you're playing in one of those Hella decks, and you're not spending a thing of energy until you play Star-Lord out on turn 4. That's 1, 2, 3. That's still that would be 3, so it'd still be -6. That's pretty good, and seems like it's pretty easy. Again, that can fit into these non-spending energy kind of decks, or even like a Wiccan deck or something like that. This would easily fit into that. Then we go to May 26th, and it is Karen Page. Karen Page is in the game, and she is a 4/5. And on reveal, give a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost character +2 power. So she's a buff card, and she's going to give a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost character +2. So it doesn't say necessarily anywhere where the card is. It just says give a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost character +2 power. So give a friendly. So it's 1 friendly character that is either 1, 2. Yeah, but I think this one's probably going to get reworked somewhere down the road, because it doesn't make any sense. Give a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost character +2 power. But it doesn't say where it's going to do it or anything like that. So if it's just random, then it sounds like it's picking out a 1, 2, and 3 cost character on your side that it's going to give +2 power to. So she's going to be essentially a 4/11. She's going to be a 4/11, which is, again, that's pretty darn good. 4/11 is pretty decent. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's worded a little weird, so we'll see if that changes. Then your Series 4s, we have... Now, this one's unknown. This just says a Series 4 card, unknown release date, and it's for Foggy Nelson. So we're getting a Foggy Nelson card, which is cool. But no text as of yet on Foggy, just a placeholder 0/0 card. Limited time event cards. We're getting 2 of those, and we're getting one is going to be Ikari. Is a 4/12, and it says you can only play this where an enemy is afflicted with negative power. So another one that works with toxic stuff. So when you're afflicting an enemy with negative power, obviously you'd work with Muse. And of course, you're going to work with Lady Bullseye as well. So this is a great card for like another big body in an afflict deck. And yeah, just says you can only play this where an enemy is afflicted with negative power. So if you get a hazmat, you can play it in any lane you want, unless they're playing Luke Cage. So 4/12's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then on May 28th, we are getting Stick. So we're getting a card variant variant for Stick, Daredevil's mentor. And this says on reveal, give the next card you play power equal to this card's power. So obviously, this is going to be a card you're going to want to buff because he's only a 4/3, which isn't that good. So this is going to be a card you're going to want to buff. And the next card you play is then going to get his power. So if you buff him with Gwenpool, and let's say she hits him a couple times, and he ends up being a 4/6, then you're going to be able to the next card you play after you play Stick would then get 6 power. So again, another card here that you might want to consider maybe putting in an OG Galactus deck, especially if you're ramping out a Galactus maybe that you would want to play like on turn 5. But yeah, this is going to be a buff card. Give it buffs. It's almost kind of like Maverick, but you have to work a little harder to do it. So, So, all right, well, there you go. That is the sneak peek into what we're getting in April and May from Marvel Snap. So there you go. Again, I'm not going to rank anything just yet because we'll do the rankings when we get closer to those months, and everything, of course, is made official. All right, we're going to quickly go over the OTAs. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Because you guys already know what they are. They've been out for a few days now. Some of the creators have been playing some of the cards to try to see if they change them up any and stuff like that. But so here we go. The one nerf that we got is to Chamber. Chamber goes from a 2-3 to a 2-2. So just 1 point of power. I don't really think it's going to affect him that much. Chamber is just a kind of a stat stick. I want priority kind of a thing card. So you're still going to be able to get him up pretty high. 1 point of power, I don't think is really going to take away from what people are really using that card for anyway. So yeah, he's kind of out there to just try to get your early priority in those games where you're playing ramp and things like that. He can get big, but maybe instead of an 11, he might be a 10. I don't really think that's going to affect him too much. The rest are all buffs. Shang-Chi, Master of the Rings, gets a buff already, going from the 10 rings, going from a 2-1 to a 2-2. The 10 rings upgrade is going from a 2-2 to 2-3. So they buffed that card. I would really agree with Binks with this card. I don't think it's very good, and I don't really think not many people are playing it. I don't think it's ever going to be that great, and the reasons that Binks talked about is bears a lot of listening to, because he's right. When you only have so many cards that you can draw from your deck, and then all of a sudden now you're making that deck bigger by having that extra card stuck in there, that's going to probably prevent you from playing something you really wanted, which makes a whole lot of sense. And so that's, I think, what's really gonna hold that card back. And again, I've seen some people playing with it, but I'm sure that's probably because they got the card and they just wanted to try it out and everything. But I don't think this is a very good card, and I don't think it will be. So next up, another one we've seen buffed time and time again, and it's Infinity Ultron. They really want this card to be good, I guess, or relevant in some way. Now his Space Stone is going from a 2-5 to a 2-6. The Time Stone's going from a 2-3 to a 2-4, and the Soul Stone's added power is going from +2 to +3. So everything kind of went up a notch. I saw some people trying it, and again, for whatever reason, this card just does not look good. And I do not think that they are, with these couple little buffs here and there to the stones, are going to make it a good card. I think they really wanted this to be a game breaker, kind of like Thanos was, in a way. But the problem is not with that. It's not with the card design in particular. I think it's because of the fact that, number one, you're only getting a few stones, and number two, the stones are quite expensive. As opposed to Thanos, is where you can just plunk them all down in like the first couple turns. And then you're getting a reward for that if you end up doing that, as to what Thanos turns into. So I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line they might want to change Infinity Ultron to kind of mimic Thanos a little bit and give him bonuses more so than what we're getting here. Put one of his drones in the space or stuff. I don't know. I think this card might end up being reworked somewhere down the line, because they just keep trying with it and it just never really seems to get any play. And I really don't think you're ever going to see this card in the meta. So next we're getting some Guardians upgrades, and I'm pretty sure these are because of the new card we got in the limited time game mode. So I really think that's why these got buffed when they did. Groot is going from a 3-3 to a 3-4, and Mantis is going from a 1-2 to a 2-3. And I think that's because you get those Guardians cards when you play the card. So I think they wanted to do that just in time for that. Groot sees some play every now and then, but Mantis just does not see play at all. And that's another card I think might be on a chopping block at some point to get completely reworked. She's a cool character, and I mean was a very cool character in the films. But I think you might have to do, especially if you're going to give her the abilities like her character in the MCU kind of had the ability to like read others' thoughts and minds and things like that. So I don't know, maybe if you're going to redo the card, kind of do something like that a little bit, you know. I know they're afraid to go into where that like things that they used to have in Magic, where you could see a player's card in their hand, or you could randomly pick a player's card in their hand and you're able to see that card at some point. I think that'd be a cool kind of a mechanic to have in Snap, but I don't think they ever really kind of want to play with that. But I think that would be something cool to add to Mantis if they wanted to. Next up is Kingpin. They're making him a 1/3 from a 1/2, so Scream players will be happy for that. The next one is Nightcrawler, going from a 1/2 to a 1/3. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one, right? Like, a lot of people play Nightcrawler just to have a mover on the board. Now, this is another card. Like, a lot of times when I was playing the OG Galactus deck, I told you guys I was playing that to where I got to on the ladder. I would always be looking for a one card that I would want in the deck. And a lot of times, when I used to play that deck years ago, it was, like years ago. I make it sound like Snap's 7 years old. When I used to play it, when Galactus was good, I used to always put Nebula in there because Nebula would attract other people to play in that lane instead of, so that would kind of guarantee you would have some open lanes that you could use Galactus in. And Nightcrawler kind of fits that bill now because now he's a 1/3 and you can move him. Because Jeff was another card I used to have in my Galactus decks all the time because that, again, you can move those cards around and now you have a choice. You're not limited to, like one location or maybe two locations where you can play Galactus. So, if they ignore the ones that you have the moving cards in, thinking that, oh, well, what's the big deal? They already have a card in there, but then they kind of just forget about it a little bit, that you can move those cards away. Then it makes it easier for you to play that Galactus down. So this would be definitely a card I'll end up probably messing around with in there. The other card I think that Safety Blade had in his version of the Galactus deck was Martyr. And I'll be honest, I've lost games too many times because of Martyr's move, especially in decks like that, where if you don't get the cards that you need, and then Martyr stays on the board the entire game, and not is just used to just blow her up when Galactus comes out, you can easily lose a game because of that card. So 5 power can affect the game. And so I'd rather put Nightcrawler in that deck. Next up is King Eitri, going from 1/2 to 1/3. Again, this card, they have given this card a lot of things. And then the card right after it is Thor's, going from a 3/4 to a 3/5. According to the devs' comments and stuff, it kind of seems like they want to make the hammers a viable thing. But again, I don't see it. Like, the only times I've seen hammer decks anywhere recently at all, is in Wong decks. When you could play the Wong lane and you could wait till the end, and you have the Beta Ray Bill in one lane, you have the Thor in the other, and you could just have those hammers go off in the Wong lane, where you could just, you play it on Wong, maybe you have Wong Mystique, then you play it, then you Odin, and that pumps those cards up to astronomical amounts. So, you can always do something like that. But Thor gets a point of power. I haven't really seen people playing Thors. So I'm not really sure that that's going to really lead to much. So, but that's the OTA. I can't really, I mean, if I had to rate it like a 1 to 10, I would kind of say it's kind of a meh one, to be honest. I'm going to go with like a 3. Again, Shang-Chi, Master of the Rings, who cares? I don't play it. I don't think many people play it. Infinity Ultron, again, same kind of thing there. I forgot to say that the stones got buffed with him too. The Space Stone went from 2/5 to 2/6. The Time Stone went from 2/3 to 2/4. And the Soul Stone's added power goes from +2 to +3. I still don't think that card's really that good. Again, Groot and Mantis, okay. But Mantis, I think, needs a rework. Kingpin is, again, pretty much only played in Scream, so that'll help out Scream decks, I guess, a little bit. Nightcrawler, of all of these, might be the one I like the most. And then King Eitri again, and Thor. I just don't know that any other deck with Thor hammers besides the Wong list is going to be relevant. I don't think it. See, because you have to look at these cards, right? And you have to automatically think, are they going to compete? Especially if you're going to play ladder. Now, maybe you're not. Maybe you're fed up with ladder. And maybe you're just going to play Conquest and things like that. And you're going to just try new things and new decks and stuff. And that's fine. You could probably mess around with this a little more that way. But if you're trying to play ladder, and you damn well know that you're going to come up against these big power, the Star-Lord decks, the Fin Fang Foom decks, the Ramp decks. You're sitting there trying to wait out a King Eitri and stuff like that, and waiting out hammers and stuff. You're going to get crushed. And so, yeah, I just don't see. This one's kind of meh to me. I think this is. I don't think this one's great. I really don't. It's definitely not what players wanted in a change that's going to shake up the meta. I really don't see this shaking up the meta at all. I really don't see it at all. I saw Regis Kilbin often does streams right after the OTA comes out, and he tries to play with some of these cards. I was watching him do that, and I don't know. I just don't think that any of these changes are gonna change anything. I really don't. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. All righty. So this is the part of the podcast when we do a little, what do you want to talk about? All kudos to Cody Rhodes. All right, so I asked a few questions here. Let me see where we are, because I posted a lot of stuff the last couple of days. By the way, if you haven't already done so, you can now claim the Blade variant, which is the one for Black History Month. And all you have to do is go to the shop. It's a cool variant too, by the way. And type in B as in boy, H as in him, M as in Mary. 2026 capitals. Has to be all capitals. So BHM capitals 2026. Capital B, capital H, capital M 2026. And you can get the Blade card. All right, I'm going to see if I could pull up. One of the questions came from Katie Satorni on Twitter. I wonder what the Foggy Nelson card could do. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? He's like a side character. Obviously no superpowers or anything like that. So I would imagine he's going to fall into a support kind of role. So he'd probably be a support card. But what exactly would he do? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I don't really know. That's a good one. That's a good one. So to all of you out there listening to the pod, leave me a comment. What do you think that Foggy Nelson, the character from the Daredevil series and obviously from comics, what do you think his card and snap should do? Let me know. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it was the OTA that you guys had some responses to. I wrote down, let me know your thoughts. Will be discussed on this week's pod. Is any of this enough to affect the current meta? And are you excited about any of the buffs? So this is what I got. First response from reviews from the tub says, I just got the Shang and rings and really like it. So that helps. I was big on Infinity Ultron for a while. This reminded me that I had fun playing it. With these buffs, I may have to revisit it. Nothing else really does anything to me or for me. Thank you for that. My comic book collection says everything changed in my game except Thor. He is still a 3/4. This one is from Crisp Rolls. It says it's okay. I don't think players are going to use Mantis or Kingpin. Scream for Kingpin, but Mantis, I agree. Other than with the new card. I play Thor, King Eitri, and Nightcrawler. Don't forget that new location that increases your power. Yeah, Guardians are changed. I wrote likely to get people to go after a major victory. Because that's what he does. He spits out those Guardians cards, so you'd be playing Mantis. And Thor's, I just said in response, Thor's I just don't think go tall enough or fast enough to win against these Star-Lord decks. Ottomano Colto says none of these can make any difference against Star-Lord and Fin Fang Foom, so I'll keep playing the bare minimum for the next couple of weeks. Yeah, see, and that's where it becomes, Ottomano's comments are probably what a lot of people share. And that is not good for a game. That's not good for a card game. And I agreed. And FWA says, why do these devs keep giving random cards more power instead of nerfing the broken ones? Your guess is as good as mine, man. I don't. Well, I mean, I know why they're not nerfing the broken Star-Lord, and that's because and Shu Lao, because they were the season pass cards. And if they're going to keep making these really strong season pass cards, they're not going to nerf it because of the simple fact that they won't sell season passes. Because think about it, if you buy the season pass and you get this really amazing broken type card, right? And then all of a sudden you're playing it for a week and you're digging it and you're really doing well. And the next thing you know, they come out with an OTA and say, well, guess what? We're nerfing that card. Number one, you're going to be pissed that you spent the money on it. And so that's their concern there. But also, if they do that and let's say a person didn't buy the season pass, certainly when they nerf it, it's not going to entice anybody to do it. Because now all of a sudden the card's worse. And they're expecting you to still buy the season pass. And if you haven't done it right away, then you're going to look and be like, no, I'm not going to do that. You nerfed it. So, yeah, I think that's primarily the reason for that. Then I also asked about the datamines. Being the new... Oh, no, never mind. No, that was a pod thing. Let's see here. Got some comments here. Got one from Matematico Supremo. Iska looks broken, and I want her in my collection now. Reviews from the Tub says some of these are really going to make you think. Talk about the data mines. Maybe we need that. That might be a good thing. That might be a good thing. Living Monolith. We're getting a Living Monolith card too, which is cool. Oh, man. I think... Yeah, I think that might be it. Let me just double check over on Blue Sky and see if I got anything over here. Jason said hello to me over there. Hello, Tops, a fellow Tops Marvel comic collector. Yeah, right. I had some comments because I posted, and this, of course, was for Friday 13th, and I posted a picture ready for tomorrow over on Blue Sky, and it has a lot of my Jason collectibles, and especially the masks. I have the Nintendo Jason mask, which is like a bluish and purple. I have the Savini Jason mask, which is only for the game. It's like if Jason would have come back and returned from hell after Freddy dragged him down, what his mask would look like. So it's all charred black. And it's got the, it's like kind of cut open on one side. Very cool looking. Then I have the remake mask from 2009. Ooh, excuse me. Then I have the Part 3 and Part 4 masks. And I have also the Freddy vs. Jason mask as well. I've got a bunch of other ones besides all these two, but these are the ones that are in the picture. And then the new one is from Jason Universe that had Greg Nicotero. who did a lot of work on Walking Dead throughout the years, designed them a new Jason mask that they want to use going forward on all their licensed stuff that they have for Jason. And he was also using the Angry Orchard little short film that they did like 3 or 4 months ago for the Jason that was in that, which is the first time we saw any sort of Jason character on a big screen that wasn't necessarily a fan film. So I have that one too. So I wrote ready for tomorrow on the post. And Blue Sky Snapper says no space mask, meaning Jason 10, where Jason went into space. I do own the one that came with the costume in a bag. So that's like the rubber kind of one that you put over your head. I do have that, which is kind of going for a decent amount of money now because it's very rare. It's hard to find. But there are some people that are out there that make the metal one. The actual one where he turns into Uber Jason, they call him, when he gets infected with the nanites and they bring his body back to life. And then he becomes like this super android type Jason. And I had been meaning to get one of those and find like a person who does them. They are out there. But and at some point I'm going to have to get it. So no, I don't have one yet other than the rubber one. Then I have Terry's there says, by the way, Terry wrote me some very nice words and kind words, so I appreciate that, Terry. Thank you. Are we counting Jason X? Didn't they basically disown that film from the franchise? Personally, I love all the Friday movies. No, they really, it was actually coming in the game. So the Friday the 13th, the game, I don't know if you played it, Terry, but I was a big player. I still do. I play it on DNS servers, even though the game's dead. But they were going to do Uber Jason. They were going to do the Jason X board, so they're going to do the spacecraft and everything that they were on. They were getting ready to do that, and then the lawsuit hit, and they couldn't. But no, I that's a guilty pleasure movie for me. I when I first saw it in the theaters, I was like this is weird. But now that I watch it, I like it a lot more. And yes, it's goofy and silly, and it's Jason fighting, in essence, Commander Data, because he's fighting an android in it. And, and there's a lot of certainly goofy moments. But I'll tell you what, has one of the best all-time kills in the Friday the 13th series. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's basically Jason in space. That's essentially what it is. And he gets frozen, cryogenically frozen on Earth. They have him in captivity. There's an accident in the lab. The lab ends up getting cryogenically frozen and survives many, 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 many years into the future. And they thaw him out, and they thaw the woman scientist that was in there with him that got frozen as well. They thaw them both out, and they're both on the spaceship. And that's kind of the how the story goes. But no, that to me, I enjoy that one more than several other ones. Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure for me. I like that movie. But anyway, the kill I'm talking about, there's a scientist that was supposed to be looking at, because when they find him, he's still showing that he's dead. And so, but of course they live how many years into the future. So death is different. And, she's doing experiments on him, trying to figure out what he is and this and that. This scientist is. And of course, Jason wakes up and there is a sink filled of what I would imagine is nitrous oxide, which instantaneously freezes body parts. Like if you touch it, you will freeze your finger. And he basically grabs her by the back of the head, and he dips her face and head into the nitrous oxide, which instantaneously freezes her entire face. You see that when it goes below the liquid line, and then he pulls her out, and then takes her face and smashes it on the sink into itty bitty little ice cubes with blood and grizzle and stuff all in them. So it is one of the most gruesome kills. It's up there. Like for me, that kill and the sleeping bag kills, and I'll say kills because the one Kane Hodder did in part 7 is the OG, but then the other one that was done in 2009 was even more brutal. But the sleeping bag ones and then that one I think are my favorites in the series. But yeah, I like X. I think X is goofy and stuff and weird, but I like it. I think it's cool. All right, well, there you go. So that was some of the comments that I've gotten from people that are out there. Had some comments in my DMs over on Blue Sky as well. Quick little note. So now I know already I was trying to have Prashant on last Monday, but of course life just gets in the way of a lot of things. Mondays and Tuesdays are weird. They are my days off for the most part. But in these last couple of weeks, I just had a gazillion things I've had to do on both days. And then they're obviously my days that I save for like appointments if I have to see a doctor or something like that. They're also days when I'm going to go and do things with stuff like, if I have things to do with my car, if I have errands to run or things like that. I'm always going to end up doing those on Monday and Tuesdays. And then things pop up, and unfortunately that's what happens. So Prashant and I are going to hope to get together this coming week. And then I'm also trying to get together with Burb as well, which he was a little sick during the course of the week, which had to be pushed back. And then I'm going to try to get him on the show as well for you. So I'll get that YouTube content out there, which will be fun. And it's always fun having other people to talk about Snap and all this other stuff too as well. So, all right, we're going to get to the Snap Talk portion of the show. And tell you who I was watching a lot this week. And Nina is Noob has been on my show. She's awesome. And I was watching her do some different things on her stream. She was doing the new player experience, trying to 1 to 100 challenge, so trying to get to 100 as a new player. So that was kind of cool watching that. Kind of made me want to go back and do that kind of thing myself and just start another account. That's always an option, Like if you're kind of down on the meta and you're kind of stuck and you're not really sure what to do, that's another thing you can do. You could always just create another account with the game. And I'll tell you, like, when I was watching her play through the beginning, it was kind of, it looked kind of fun. When you're going back and you're reliving those moments and all those old cards and stuff like that you're seeing that are prominent, like in the meta that you can play in. And there's no, there's none of this goofy stuff going on. There's no Star-Lord going on and stuff like that. So all those cards that that are upsetting everybody really aren't a part of it. So it's kind of cool. So that's always an option that you could think about going back and trying. So, all right. So I've got the game opening, I think. Maybe opening. Looked like it was going to open. Let's see. Let's try this again, shall we? Now I think we're going. We're rolling. I got to update it. Sorry, I didn't update it on my iPad yet. Update. There's an achievement app that is on. I don't know if any of you guys play Snap on iPhone. I'm sure a lot of you do. But there's an achievement app now that's out in their game center. And I'll be honest with you, it gets annoying. It's cool. I like what they do. And there are some people that said that Snap should kind of incorporate some things from it into the game. It's kind of like an extra way to get rewards. But I will tell you that I think that this could be part of a problem that might be slowing the game down and causing some issues. So I kind of shut mine off. I don't have it on anymore because I do think that it could be causing some slowness in the game. And you got to watch because, especially on iOS, it does seem like a lot of these bugs that are in the game are happening to players that are playing on iPhones and on iOS. And I think that, if you put anything in there that's going to slow the game down even further, I think it's just going to make it worse for you. So if you have that game center on your iPhone, and it's automatically logging you in, you can shut that off. So just to let you know, might want to think about doing that if you're having some problems with the gameplay, with playing the game. So we're loading, downloading. 98, 99. Oh, there we go. All right, well, I have gone nowhere on ladder. I'm at 84. Still where I was last week, I think. In fact, I might have been at 85. I don't remember. But I've gone nowhere. Galactus got me from 60 all the way up to 80, and I am dead in the water. So haven't really played much of it. I've been playing Conquest more than I've played than I've played Ladder. So yeah, not much to report there. So where we'll go is we'll look at the cards. There is a new album or a new couples pack. It's called Power Couples, and it's under a Power Couples Spotlight. Mine has Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate Storm. Now I already have her, and then the Power Couples ones that are in the pack. In mine are unowned 15. So I have I have two Black Panther cards, the In-Hyuk Lee variant and the Stormbreakers variant of Black Panther. I have a Cyclops Eric Guerrero variant, and then I also have an Alexander Lozano variant of Cyclops. I have a Rion Chibi variant of Hulkling. I have the Tae Kwon Kim variant of Esme Cuckoo. I have a Peach Momoko Gambit, a Peach Momoko Jean Grey. Then I have a Philip Tan variant of Jean Grey. I have a Paul Mafion variant of Kid Omega. I have a Rian Gonzalez Rogue. Jamal Campbell Scarlet Witch. Peach Momoko Scarlet Witch. I have a Peach Momoko Storm. And I have a fantasy variant of Vision. These other ones I've all seen before, except for the fantasy variant of Vision. But these aren't really anything I'm going to get any variants of, because I have a very cool Cyclops now. I have a cool Black Panther that I use all the time, and I don't play that card much. I have some cool Cyclops already. Same thing with Hulkling. Same thing with Esme. Gambit, I've got some really cool ones. Jean Grey. I already have a Dark Phoenix one, which that one is. Kid Omega, I never play the card. Rogue, in fact, I don't even know if I have a variant of Kid Omega. I may not. And these, of course, are all random when you open the pack. I have a ton of Rogues, a ton of Scarlet Witch, a ton of Storms, and a good amount of Visions as well. So these, I will not be spending any tokens for those. Right now I have the Spotlight card of White Widow and the Ultimate Nico Minoru, both in my shop. All right, so let's look at some variants that I have gotten. It's kind of a bigger week for variants for me. I got an Ironheart variant. The Chibi Ironheart, which I never had. I got the Ultimate Infinite. This is sick looking, man. It's like, again, I'm a sucker for these close-ups. I love the close-up headshots, and that's exactly what this is. And when you see it, when it's split and that planet's moving around underneath his head, and I mean it's just a sick looking Ultimate card. So I picked that up. I got a variant for the this is Vincenzo Riccardi variant of Rocket Raccoon. Obviously, that's on the collection track. I got the Marcello Vignali variant of Bass. Now, this is one that was being included in the limited time game mode, but I ended up pulling it from a just a pull on the level train. And I know other people had said the same thing, that they were able to just get this because it was considered a rare card, so they could just pull it from one of the pulls when you're climbing the ladder, and that's what I did with that. That's how I got it. I got the Major Victory Paul Maffeyan variant. I got a cool Angela variant, and this of course came from the limited time game mode as well. I got all three of the Portal Pool cards. So this is by Eric Kinnett. Very cool looking. Then I got the Tony Moy Kazar. There aren't really many variants of Kazar or Shauna in the game. There aren't a ton. And so this is a cool one. I like the art. The art is very colorful, very painting-like. Very much looks like a painting. It's Kazar fighting what looks to be like a dinosaur, T-Rex type of thing. I got the Paul Maffeyan variant of Drax, which is also rare, so I was able to get that for essentially free off the collection track. I got the Black History Month Blade, which I told you guys how to get. Blade Legacy variant, very, very cool looking. Very much styled after the comic books with the red glasses and stuff like that, so I like it. And then my variant of the week is one I got from the Portal Pull from the limited time game mode, and that is the High Jeff variant by Eduardo Mello and Ryan Kennard. So it is the team that brings you the regular cards all the time. And this is just one of the cutest cards that you'll ever see in the game. It is Cosmo asleep on a pillow and Jeff laying on top of him sleeping as well with a big smile. Both of them with big smiles on their faces. Cosmo's bowl is on the ground along with a toy. And there's a ball there as well with a star on it like Captain America symbol. And they are just sleeping together on this Cosmo's all sprawled out like a dog would be with their paws out, and Jeff is just snuggling with him on there. Very cute card, very cute card. And I got a fire background split because I have Cosmo. I have almost leveled all the way up now. He's up to 26, and I got the fire background. And I'll tell you what, it's probably the coolest use of a fire background that I have on any card because it looks like they're laying in front of a fire. It literally looks like they're laying in front of like a fireplace, which is awesome. So that looks very, very cool. So that is my variant of the week. Just adorable. Absolutely adorable variant. Some decks that I played. I tried out this one. That's kind of an anti-meta list a little bit. And this is Spider-Ham, Hydra Bob, Herbie, Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, Captain America, so that's Sam Wilson's Cap, Cosmo, Drax, Mercury, Stardust, Cannonball, The Thing First Steps, and Aurora. So you'll notice that a lot of people went back to playing Mercury Cannonball to overcome these other decks and these really big cards. And of course, Stardust is to prevent people from playing the Zola or on Star-Lord or the Hela or any of that kind of shenanigans. So, and then Thing is always just good because he's gonna pound down one card at the end of the that one time that he does that could just take out a really important card for your opponents. So I played this a little bit. And I will say, I mean, Drax is cool, but he is kind of a mid card. Being honest. He's not spectacular in any way, shape, or form. He is kind of a little bit of a mid type card. I don't think he's the answer to any kind of meta game or anything like that. I played a little bit of a Doom deck that I saw. I don't remember where exactly I saw this one. It might have been either Dexter or Binks' stream. I don't remember. But this is Hydra Bob, Chamber, Moondragon, Invisible Woman First Steps, Drax, Mercury, Doom, Iron Lad, Cannonball, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Doctor Doom, and Aurora. So it's a combination of a Doom list with some tech in there with Mercury Cannonball along with Cosmic Ghost Rider. And then Invisible Woman gets you to do those last turn effects more than one time. Of course, helps with Doom, helps with Drax, and all that kind of stuff. So played that a little bit. Played the good old ramp deck a little bit. And Drax made his way into that too. Chamber, Moondragon, Drax, Electro, Luna Snow, Dragon Lord, Legion, Blink, War Machine, Galactus First Steps, Infinite, and Fin Fang Foom are in that list. The OG Galactus, man, I'm still I still have it here, and it's went through some changes, but Nebula, Daredevil, which by the way became a card in a lot of people's decks all of a sudden, because they're able to see if they're going to be playing that Star-Lord out and stuff like that, and whether or not they could counter it, whether they can't, and whether they just leave the game. But Daredevil's been in a lot of decks lately. He was always a staple in Galactus because you could see what the other player puts down. If you don't have priority, or even if you do, you can see what the other player is going to play on that next turn. So that's big in Galactus decks. Jennifer Kale, Electro, Luna, Wave, Negasonic. I forgot how good Negasonic was in Galactus decks because she could be a card that after you Galactus, you can just play down on that final turn and it's going to blow. If they play something big like a Fin Fang Foom, thinking you just have the Galactus in the front lane and you're going to play something else, they're going to just outpower you. You play the Negasonic down afterwards and you'll blow that card up if that's all they're going to play. So Blink, of course, Galactus, Alioth. Alioth is amazing in this meta, by the way. If you could figure out a good deck to play Alioth in, it is very good in this meta. Very good in the meta. Red Hulk and Galactus for a step. So both Galactuses are in this one. Drink of choice is just Diet. Oh, I am always on the hunt for like new sodas, diet sodas, right? Coke has made a new one called Coke. It's Cherry Coke, but it's Cherry Coke Float. So it's Cherry Coke with like a little bit of vanilla in it. Oh my God, it's so good. And I know they made a Cherry Vanilla Coke, but I don't think they ever had it in diet. It is one of the best diet sodas I've ever had. It is so good. So try it if you like soda. Coke should give me a sponsorship. That'd be nice. And I think that's really it. I think that was really all I messed around with in the game throughout this week. So, alrighty. Well, let's turn it over and let's move to Comics Corner, shall we? And we're going to look up we're going to talk about Drax, the Avatar of Life, and we're going to talk a little bit about Moondragon as well. And then, of course, we'll talk about my comic picks for the week. All right, Drax, Avatar of Life. Here we go. All right, so Arthur Douglas from Earth 616. Got a quote here. Trying to say he's a toughin'. Way to work the obvious, Skrull. He was only cobbed together to take on Thanos. That's a quote from Lunatic, spelled T-I-K. The being known as Drax the Destroyer is a powerful cosmic warrior created to battle the Mad Titan Thanos. He was formed from Earth and cosmic energy and imbued with the soul of the recently deceased Earthling Arthur Douglas, whose family was slaughtered by Thanos during one of the Titans' early incursions to Earth. Reborn through the intervention of cosmic deity Kronos, Drax emerged as a unique being containing two souls of Arthur and the Destroyer. He possessed immense physical strength, durability, and the ability to fire potent energy blasts, though he was stripped of all memories of his human identity. Over time, he was killed and resurrected multiple times, with significant changes to his power set and intelligence. During one such resurrection, he emerged in a smaller, more agile form with improved reasoning and combat skills but fewer cosmic powers. During the aftermath of the Annihilation War, Drax joined the newly formed Guardians of the Galaxy and played a vital role in defending the universe from numerous threats. Though no longer solely driven by vengeance, his hatred for Thanos remained central to his identity, leading to brutal confrontations during cosmic events such as the formation of the Infinity Watch and the Thanos Imperative. Despite his violent nature, Drax gradually evolved into a more introspective warrior, questioning his purpose beyond vengeance. In recent adventures, he sought peace through music and spirituality while continuing to serve as a guardian. During the Infinity Wars, Drax was split into two beings, Arthur and the Destroyer, after Gamora used the Infinity Stones to create Warp World. Arthur lived a civilian life until he rejoined the fight against Devondra alongside Pete, P-E-E-T, helping to restore the universe. The souls remained separate. Arthur stayed in Warp World with a recreated Yvette, while the Destroyer's soul found peace in endless battle. Later, to help the new Drax find peace, Mantis and Gamora retrieved Arthur's soul from the Soul Stone, convincing Multitude to release it, and reunited it with Drax. All right, so I bet you didn't know this. He was a real estate agent. Arthur Douglas was a real estate agent. His wife Yvette and his daughter Heather were driving across the Mojave Desert from Las Vegas to Los Angeles when a spaceship carrying the Mad Titan, named Thanos, passed overhead on a surveillance mission to Earth. Wishing to keep his entrance a secret, Thanos destroyed the automobile in case its passengers had seen his ship, and then landed to make certain they were dead. Satisfied that they were, Thanos left. Unknown to the Titan, his father, Mentor, had been monitoring his activities on Earth to examine his son's latest handiwork. Mentor discovered that Heather Douglas was still alive and took her back to Titan to be raised. She later returned to Earth as Moondragon. Well, there you go. Mentor determined that the threat of his son Thanos could no longer be ignored and wanted to create a being of sufficient power to defeat him. Enlisting the aid of his father Kronos, who millennia before had become a discorporate wraith, Mentor had Kronos seize the astral form, living consciousness of Arthur Douglas before it had completely fled from Douglas's body. Kronos and Mentor then fashioned a humanoid body from the Earth's soil, granted it superhuman powers, and cast Douglas' spirit inside it. Thus they created the being who would become known as Drax the Destroyer. From the moment he was created to be Thanos' nemesis, Drax became an avatar of life. So there you go. Mentor blocked all of Drax's memories from his old life, instilling in him monomaniacal hate for Thanos. For years he served as Thanos' nemesis, thwarting certain of the Titanians' plans, but never crushing Thanos himself. One particular battle between them led to Drax to befriend Iron Man of Earth, an ally that he would later come in contact with various times over the years. Drax battled Thanos in order to stop him from obtaining the Cosmic Cube. He lost to Thanos and went to the Avengers for help. Of course, there's stuff about Moondragon here, too. After traveling the stars for a couple of weeks, Drax hadn't found a purpose for his life. He felt grim, and he came across a group of creatures that threatened to destroy him. If he didn't leave them alone, Drax attacked them in hopes that he may kill them. On the contrary, the group of creatures sacrificed one of their own to save the collective. By attaching themselves to Drax's head, Drax's daughter, Moondragon, sensed this from her own spaceship, so she went to his location to find him unconscious. With no knowledge of the situation, she decided to go to her friends at Avengers Mansion. However, only Thor was there. While they were deciding what to do with him, Drax woke up confused. He attacked Thor and Moondragon, but Thor struck Drax with lightning, which made the creature detach itself from Drax's head. Afterward, Drax and Moondragon decided to travel through space together and return the creature back to its collective. So that's some adventures that he had, of course, with Moondragon. Spent a lot of time doing his playful things on Monster Island. Infinity Watch, Earthfall, Microverse, Annihilation, a lot of stuff with Drax in it, of course. Guardians of the Galaxy, War of Kings, the Thanos Imperative, Infinity War. Lots of stuff he is in. Lots of stuff. His powers, he's the avatar of life. After being resurrected by Kronos, his spirit, Arthur Douglas' spirit, was outfitted into an artificial body by the cosmic entity in order to battle Thanos. Because of this event, he is considered an avatar of life. Let me see his history here. Of course, his name was Arthur Sampson Douglas. His current alias is Drax the Destroyer. Affiliations and relationships. He was the host of Venom at one point. He is married. Male, 6'4", 7'4" in his most powerful form. 5'9" as Arthur Douglas. He weighs 680 pounds as Drax. 1050 pounds and most powerful form as Drax. 161 pounds as Douglas. He has red eyes as Drax. No visible irises, and blue as Douglas. Hair, he has none at all as Drax and brown as Douglas. Skin is green as Drax. And he has red tattoos. He is an ex-human, biologically enhanced, artificial body created by Mentor from Earth 616 and Burbank, California. He has a secret identity. Citizenship is American. Titanian Eternal. And he was created by Jim Starlin and Mike Friedrich. First appearance was in Iron Man, number 55 in 1972. And his death happened in Guardians of the Galaxy Annual, Volume 5, number 1 in February 2024. So he died just a couple of years ago in comics. All right, so that's a quick peek at Drax. We already looked at Moondragon a little bit there too. I think we might have gone over her last week as well, so I'm not going to repeat that. But it's cool. It's cool that she's obviously she's Drax's real daughter. So. All right, let's go to the app, folks, shall we? Let's go to the Marvel Unlimited app and check out what we got on the agenda for this week. And we'll first of all look up Drax, find out what we can find. Of course, he's going to be in a crap ton of Guardians books, I'm sure. When you look him up, he's got character details, and he says, risen from the dead by Titan god Kronos to kill Thanos, Arthur Douglas becomes the cosmic powerhouse Drax the Destroyer. When Thanos dies, he finds purpose in pursuing evil across the universe as a guardian of the galaxy. Has his own series from 2015-2016 that went 11 issues. There's another one called Drax the Destroyer from back in 2005. He was in Adam Warlock stuff from 1998 and 1999. Of course, then all the Guardians, as I said, Marvel Universe Guardians of the Galaxy, the Jewel of Death Infinity comic, Annihilation, All New Guardians, Legendary Star-Lord, Annihilation Nova, Warlock and the Infinity Watch. Now, these are back from the 90s. He was in an Incredible Hulk issue from 1976 to 1994, in 15 of them, actually. Guardians of the Galaxy Annual from 2014. Silver Surfer Warlock Resurrection from 1993. He was in a couple Nova books. Warlock Chronicles from 93 and 94. Drax had his own comic, issue number 11. Went up to issue number 11 back in 2016. And then, of course, all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. Marvel Spotlight, Captain Marvel from 1979. That was Captain Marvel. That was a very much a favorite book of mine. Warlock and the Infinity Watch. Silver Surfer, that makes sense. And then just a lot of the Thanos stuff. So there's a lot that you can find in the Marvel app to look up Drax and read about him if you enjoy that character. And again, it's $9.99 a month, and you could read pretty much almost all of anything, including old books, new books, whatever it is you want. The new books come out, like I said, about 3 months after the fact. So they're not exactly brand new. You got to wait for a couple months for them, but still. Okay. Going to go into new this week and see what's new in the app. We've got Simbi, an Infinity comic. Cute little guy that's getting himself into some trouble here. It's exclusive to the app. But he's from the new Spider-Man book. Ah, yes. The Spider-Man in space came across this little dude named Simbi. And he basically looks like a little tiny Venom symbiote. He's another comic they made up to be cute, I'm sure. And yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot he was in the Spider-Man book. So there you go. That's where he's from. Now he has his own comic. Marvel Rivals Infinity comic number 41. That is exclusive to the app. We have an Echo book. Echo Seeker of Truth. That is an issue number 1. So the very first issue of that. That's cool. I like Echo. I liked her series on the Disney Plus. We have Star Wars Legacy of Vader. That is, I've told you guys, that is the Kylo Ren series. If you like the new Star Wars stuff. Amazing X-Men, issue number 2. Spirits of Violence, issue number 2. Alien versus Captain America, issue number 1. Laura Kinney Sabretooth, issue number 2. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, issue number 14. Ultimate X-Men, issue number 21. Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 40. Planet She-Hulk, issue number 1, so that's new. Amazing Spider-Man is up to issue number 15, and Spider-Man's still in space. Long Shots up to issue number 2. Avengers up to issue number 32, and Binary is up to issue number 2. Kind of a bit of a light week. Let's see if there's anything else that I didn't mention. Death of the Silver Surfer has been very good. Been reading that. The new Thing comic's been good. Daredevil Cold Day in Hell has been really good. And yeah. I often forget to say this, but and I'm not going to say I'm the master of comic books. I'm certainly not, but I've read enough of them over the course of my life, dating back to 1972, 73, 74 were comics that were bought for me when I was old enough to read. So if there are ever anything like characters, questions, or anything like that you guys may have, let me know. Let me know in the comments or anything like that. Or if there's there's a different character that maybe you want to hear a little bit about, or you want a spotlight or something on a show, and maybe I could do that and do like a little quick thing for a spotlight character for you guys. Like, it doesn't have to be on every show, but maybe if I get it, I can do that on the show. I think that'd be cool. Okay, well, we are now going to move into the MCU Minute, and oh my God, is there a ton of stuff going on in the MCU Minute? Because there's a ton of stuff going on out there in Marvel, just a ton. I mean, TOYFAIR was today, so there's all kind of brand new toys that came out. Marvel stuff, DC stuff. The Spider-Man trailer is getting... Apparently, somebody leaked it. The one day I went online on X, and right on my feed, very first thing I see is leaked Spider-Man trailer, and it is definitely the real one. It is definitely the real one. I've heard people comment about it and say what was in the trailer and exactly what they said was in it. It was not doctored in any way. It didn't look stupid or anything like that. It was definitely the trailer. I'm sure it got taken right down, so I must have been lucky or unlucky as it may seem that it popped up. I mean, of course I watched it, so not going to spoil anything because I don't do that kind of stuff. But there is just a ton of hype. It should be coming up very soon. It should be coming out very soon, I would imagine. I would imagine that it will be coming out very soon. I thought this was kind of interesting. I found this throughout the course of the week, and I figured it would fit well into the MCU Minute. This is Marvel plots that were left open-ended due to some of the unfulfilled post-credit scenes, which I thought this was kind of neat. That there was this many of this kind of stuff, and now, of course, I just lost my darn place. Where did it go? Tell me I deleted it. I bet you I just deleted it. Oh my gosh. Or maybe you know what I think it is? I may have deleted that on the on my actual phone, and now it's just kind of catching up and it's deleting it out of the albums. Oh well. Well, you can go look that up. It was kind of a cool post where they said all the plot lines. One of them was, of course, the Venom symbiote. That was shown in the post-credits stinger. That was kind of left open-ended. In fact, it might have been answered at the end of Venom 3 a little bit, but that was one of them. Baron Mordo was another one at the end of Doctor Strange, the very first Doctor Strange. That never really came to fruition very much. I mean, we saw Baron Mordo again in Multiverse of Madness, but it wasn't going directly from that plot line. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there too. It was kind of cool. All right. But anyway, some news about Tom Holland. So Tom Holland will remain the Spider-Man with the most solo films. After Spider-Man Brand New Day, he's reportedly signed for 2 more movies to complete his second trilogy. So he will be back. And I'm sure he might be in some other stuff too, like the event movies, of course. I know he's not going to be in Doomsday, but if he's not in Secret Wars, I would be shocked. Because he plays such a big... And that's where a lot of people are assuming he might get the symbiote at that time. Would make a lot of sense, because that's where it happened in the original comics from the 1980s, the Secret Wars stuff. So I would be shocked as actually that if he wasn't in there, and it would make sense that he's continuing on. So that's cool. That we're going to get to see more Tom Holland. All right, so let's see. I got some more news here. This is from MCU Film News. This is saying the X-Men in Avengers Doomsday have reportedly survived multiple incursions. Each time, they send their own members to a doomed Earth, battling its defenders and erasing that universe to save their own. That's from My Time to Shine. Hello. So maybe just like a little tad bit of a minor type spoilery kind of thing. But I mean, again, you take these with a grain of salt. You don't really know if that's true, but it could be something that might be going on. Let's see what else we've got here. All right, now this is all about Spider-Man Noir. And man, that looks awesome. Awesome. The trailer, Nicolas Cage and all the characters and stuff that are in it, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to watch it both in black and white and in color. I am super excited for that. That could be a sleeper hit for this year. It really could. I think they're going to kill that. And Nicolas Cage is perfect for the role. And these other actors that are playing villains, and these are villains of Spider-Man. Some we've seen, some we have not. So this is really cool. The first one is from Discussing Film. Jack Houston will play Sandman in the Spider-Man Noir series. So we're going to get Sandman in the series, which is awesome. And now they showed some pictures. At the beginning, he's talking to a woman who's wearing a lot of gold. She has like a headpiece on and stuff like that. And he's talking to her. And it seems kind of like maybe she's a love interest. Well, she is Black Cat. So that's kind of cool too. That's the first time we're going to see Black Cat in a Spider-Man film. It's kind of cool. Like now we've seen Sandman, of course, in the Tobey Maguire stuff, but we have never seen. Or no, I'm sorry. Was it Tobey? Yeah, he was in Spider-Man 3. Yeah, so we've seen, but we have never seen Black Cat in a Spider-Man movie. So I think that's cool. And then, of course, and the other one is Silvermane. There's another one, another Spider-Man villain we have not seen as yet, and he's being played by Brendan Gleeson in Spider-Man Noir. So that's a lot of the 3 villains that we're going to have that we've never seen in 2 of the 3 we've never seen in Spider-Man movies. This is good news. Rumor, this is from Marvel, the MCU, the Direct. Rumor, Sony Pictures is reportedly now open to sharing more Spider-Man characters with Marvel Studios. Well, thank the heavens. They finally listened. What did it take? Was Madam Web not enough to convince you of that? Was Kraven the Hunter, which I still have not watched and probably won't ever, was not enough to convince you of that? How about Morbius, the living vampire? Was that not enough to convince you of that? This is great news, guys. Great news that Sony is now going to say, okay, yes, go ahead and use some of our villains in your Spider-Man films or whatever the case might be. Smart thinking from Sony there. And in the little picture they have pictured, they have Werewolf by Night pictured there. He's already, of course, been in that one shot with Man-Thing. But they have him. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Man-Wolf. Never mind. That's the J. Jonah Jameson's son, Man-Wolf. We have Lady Scorpion in that picture. We have Anti-Venom. We have Rhino. Dr. Octopus, of course, he's been in several. Kraven. Morbius. We have Rhino. And I said him. We have Shocker. course, Shocker is... But yeah, that's cool. That's about time, Sony. About time. Good move. Good move. Yeah, this is where it says Spider Noir will introduce Lai Jun Lee as Cat Hardy, a 1930s twist on Black Cat, a.k.a. Felicia Hardy. She's not the Black Cat, but she's going to be Cat Hardy. So could be an ancestor of Felicia's, maybe. Not really sure, but that's cool, I think. Again, first sighting of that character for us. And then, of course, a first look came out on Twitter, and you got a first look at Sandman. Molten Man is in it as well. So, again, another first-time Spider-Man villain we're going to get to see in this. Electro also. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and Vulture. Vulture's in it, too. Okay, Vulture looks way different, though. Way different. He has, like, several eyes. Looks like a little bit disfigured and stuff. He does kind of look like the old man Vulture a little bit, though. So that's kind of neat. Electro looks awesome. Although he looks like the one that was in the Tobey Maguire or the Andrew Garfield films. At least how he's. I want to see the Electro with the. Oh, let me look. Oh wait, though, I think I see like yellow boots. Oh, he might have the green and yellow outfit. See, that's the one that's the one I would love to see. I would love to see that version, like the yellow. I mean, we kind of got that version a little bit in the Andrew Garfield stuff, right? Alrighty. We're moving on. See what else I have Marvel-wise. Well, this one isn't Marvel, but it's movies, and this is DC. Boy, this cast is really shaping up for the Batman 2. Just announced by Discussing Fish. Mark Hamill, famous for playing the voice of the Joker, by the way, in the animated series of Batman, has been cast in the Batman Part 2. How cool is that? Mark Hamill is going to be in the Batman Part 2. The cast for that's really shaping up like it's going to be awesome. I like the first one a lot, and I'm sure I'm going to like this one too. It was very Seven-esque, very much like Seven, and I love how they use Batman more as a detective than they kind of ever did, which was great. I've got a little confirmed characters that will be featured in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, some of these are like, duh. Peter Parker, there you go, duh. MJ, duh. Ned Leeds, duh. Yeah. Bruce Banner and the Hulk. If you didn't hear, that's been all over the place. Frank Castle's Punisher. Mac Gargan, Scorpion, Lonnie Lincoln, Tombstone, Boomerang, Tarantula, and Sadie Sink's character, whoever that is going to be, because we still don't know. There's been people guessing, but we're not going to find out for sure. There have been some leaks of a picture of Tombstone and Spider-Man, which is literally taken right from a comic. And then some toy leaks that have gotten out there that have shown images of Boomerang and Tarantula. I love Tarantula. Love him. And he has the spikes and stuff on his boots, which I think is amazing. That's so awesome that Tarantula's going to be in it. And obviously Scorpion, Matt Gargan is back. That was made no secret. That was told at the very early. I'm excited to see his suit. I hope they do it right. All right. I'm going to get into a couple things from... well, first of all, this one's kind of personal to me. There's a con coming up. Now, this is in the same place that I went to get Gillian Anderson's autograph. So I've been to that convention center just this past year. But there's another con coming up there, same place in September, called RetroCon. And friends of mine go to it all the time. Now, last year, he met Dirk Benedict, who I love. You don't know who that is? The actor that played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, the original, and also played in the A-Team, is what he was famous for. But again, one of my childhood heroes. I loved Starbuck on the old Battlestar Galactica. But I saw who one of their first guests is, and it might be the first guest they announced, and now I have to go. It is none other than Nicholas Hammond, who played Spider-Man in the CBS television series, is going to be there. I need to go because I've got to get this dude's autograph, and I want to talk to him, and I want to tell him, like, dude, you were my Spider-Man. Because he was. I when I was growing up, I watched the 60s cartoons, but then this came out on CBS, and I was over the moon joyous with this series. I didn't care how hokey it was, and I get it. They didn't have the budget to make it the way that they could have now, and you know they although the stunts looked amazing, they had a dude that would climb buildings and stuff for them that was actually climbing the buildings in a Spider-Man costume. I mean, and some very tall buildings at the time. Now, I know there was just that whole thing, I think it was on Netflix, about that dude who scaled that really high building with nothing, like just climbed it. But, you know, they were doing this back on this Spider-Man series. But if you've never seen it, you can watch it on YouTube. It is campy, okay? It is campy. The theme music is very campy, but I love it. And, you know, this is the Spider-Man I grew up with. And I thought Nicholas Hammond played a very, very good version of Peter Parker when he was in college, okay? A lot of times we see younger Peter now. We see, like, Tom Holland was in high school when we saw him, right? And now he's in his first year of college. But this, he was a Peter Parker who was working for the Daily Bugle. He was a photographer. He was going to college at the same time. I think he was going for his master's degree. So he was already out of college and into, you know, so he's probably like well into his 20s. So mid-20s, probably 26, 27 years old and stuff like that. And he did a great job. I love Nicholas Hammond in this show. And again, Stan Lee himself said he did not like this series because he said there was no humor in it. It didn't have that Spider-Man kind of humor and stuff. So he really didn't like it, but I loved it. It didn't last very long. But I have the Blu-ray of it that someone made and has it all on Blu-ray and cleaned it all up and everything like that. But I love it, and I am definitely going to meet Nicholas Hammond. That is no doubt in my mind. I am going to do that. There are also rumors that possibly at this show, Dirk Benedict, of course, might be back again, which would be great for me to meet him. But also I heard that William Cat, who played the greatest American hero, may be going as well. And that's another one. He's another childhood hero of mine, because that's another show that I watched every episode of, and I absolutely loved it. So that would be amazing for me to meet both of those guys. So just a little personal note there, but it kind of fits in with the movie stuff, I guess. And then let me go over a couple little things here from TOYFAIR, because TOYFAIR happened today, and they showed a ton of stuff if you want to make your wallet lighter. They have He-Man toys. Of course, Master of the Universe is coming out this year, and there are action figures of He-Man, and of course of Skeletor as well, which look very cool. K-pop Demon Hunters, for those who like that, there was a Mattel display of K-pop Demon Hunters figures. Oh my God, 2 new figures of the Crow, and these look incredible. Now this is Brandon Lee's The Crow. This first figure is him from the movie, and he's holding the shotgun, and of course has his hands taped and everything like that. Looks awesome. Now I know Todd McFarlane had done that in his McFarlane Toys line, but oh my God, this one looks incredible. But even more so, and for me, I'm going to probably pick this one up. This is the Eric Draven right from the comic. So right from the James O'Barr comic book, which, by the way, and I know I've talked about this book before. If you haven't read The Crow, you need to read it. You absolutely need to read it. And it doesn't matter whether you've seen the film. The film is iconic for the era it was made in. But if you have watched the film and never read the book, trust me, go out and get it and read it, because it is one of the best comics I've ever read. The story is so personal to James O'Barr because of what happened. His girlfriend was killed by a drunk driver, and pretty much he blamed himself for it, and he went into seclusion. Very, very sad story, and he wrote this story during that time. But this Crow is right out of the comic book. Absolutely stunning work that they did with this, and I'm definitely going to get it. It is incredible looking. K-Pop Demon Hunters Funko Pops were also shown. More of the He-Man stuff. So they showed Battle Cat. They showed She-Ra. They showed Man-at-Arms. Who's the bad... Oh, I forget her name. I wasn't that into He-Man. I was always much more into Transformers than I was He-Man. So I don't know the names of the characters as much. Evil Lyn. Yeah, Evil Lyn. I think they have her as well. Oh, these are incredible. NECA, who makes amazing stuff. They are doing Batman Returns figures. So they have Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, Danny DeVito's Penguin, and, of course, Michael Keaton's Batman, which looks so awesome. That's another one I'm going to have to pick up. I love that Batman. I had that cowl. Michael Keaton's Batman cowl that I bought. I paid a good amount of money for it back then, too. I bought it when I was in my second or third year of college, because that was when that film came out. That came out in 1989. I believe, and I bought the cowl to wear for Halloween, and it had the Batman symbol on it, and I wish I would have kept it. I did not, but I wish I would have kept it. But I love that Batman. Absolutely love that Batman. Let's see, what else did they show there? Another picture of the NECA. NECA makes such cool figures, man. Their figures are absolutely amazing. They've also made, in honor of Friday the 13th, they made 2 new Jason toys, which they're labeling as Friday the 13th the game, but they made a Jason Part 8, which has never been done in the action figure form. So definitely got to get that one. That's the one where he's in New York, but never really in New York because they didn't have the budget for him to be in New York, so he was on a boat. And then they are doing one for Friday 13th, the game, which is the Savini version. So that's a Tom Savini Jason they made only for the game. And then they're doing the Friday 13th Jason Goes to Hell version action figure also. I will not get that because I hate that. I hate that movie. That is my most hated one. One more news about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, these are the confirmed characters and some rumored ones. So confirmed is Scorpion, Tombstone, Boomerang, and the Hand. Rumored are Ramrod, Tarantula, 8-Ball, and Shathra. So they are the rumored ones. Alrighty. And then, I have one more piece of news. This is from MCU Film News. Aubrey Plaza may reprise her role as Lady Death in the upcoming Midnight Suns project. Oh my God, yeah, give me that. I told you I wanted her back, and she did an amazing job with Death. Again, Death is such a favorite of mine because of Thanos and me being the fan of that. How great would that be if she was in the Midnight Suns? Oh, that'd be absolutely amazing. Would love to see that come true. All right. Well, that is the stuff from the MCU. So we're going to venture over and we're going to go to Pixel Perspective a little bit here. They had the Sony State of Play over the last couple of days to kind of highlight what Sony was coming out with. Metal Gear Solid stuff is coming out, which is pretty cool. They have a new Silent Hill game coming out, which was exciting, called Townfall. Although I don't think I'm going to be able to play it because it's first-person perspective. And I have a hard time playing first-person games, so I don't think I'm going to be able to play it, but I'll have to wait for the Silent Hill remake to the original that Bluebird team is going to do, which they did such a great job with Silent Hill 2. I'm trying to think what else was on State of Play. It's like super big titles. They didn't really show, they didn't show Grand Theft Auto, any of that kind of, because they're primarily spotlighting their own games, right? Oh man, trying to think of some of the other stuff. I just watched these too. I watched a couple different broadcasts for it. Now, of course, I can't remember. Man. Yeah, I forgot. Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me go look it up real quick. Because why not? I have an iPad in front of me. Sony State of Play games. Everything announced so far. So let's see. This is from Oh, a new Castlevania game. Yeah, dude, that looks amazing. The graphics are like cell shaded. That looks incredible. This is from IGN, by the way. God of War: Sons of Sparta side-scrolling spin-off out. Actually, that came out today. And God of War trilogy remake. So the whole God of War trilogy was announced. Castlevania Belmont's Curse, a new 2D Castlevania game announced. Kena, Scars of Cosmora kicks off the state of play. So Kena 2 was what kicked off the show. Oh, the John Wick game. Yes, they're doing a John Wick game. And let me tell you, it looks just like the movies. The stuff you'd see John Wick doing, like slamming people into weird objects and all this kind of stuff, that looked incredible. I knew the minute they showed him getting his suit tailored, I'm like, yep, John Wick, baby. Yeah, that looked awesome. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, so Volume 2. Finally frees Metal Gear Solid 4 from the PS3 with an August release date. Ghost of Yotai Legends will add 4-player co-op. Resident Evil Requiem trailer reveals Leon is sadly once again infected. So Leon's infected in the trailer. They show you going back to the police department, to Raccoon City Police, from Resident Evil 2. So you're revisiting like old locations and stuff like that in this. So that looks cool. There's a game called Saros. Marathon reaffirms March release date with February server slam. Control Resonant is another one that they showed off gameplay for. 007 got a little trailer there, which looks good, although it won't be for me. I'm not a big fighter, shooting type of game guy, so probably won't be for me, but it looks good. The Beast of Reincarnation, which is an RPG that looks very interesting to me. Noir. I told you, man. I see that word and I just forget how to pronounce it. And I was just doing a great job when I was talking about Spider-Man Noir. New RPG from Konami, set in a world shrouded in lightfall. This is like cel-shaded animation. Look good. Star Wars Galactic Racer got a trailer. So it's just like Star Wars Racer, but it looks like the graphics are incredible. So if you're a racing kind of a person, I'm not in particular, but, people who like Mario Kart and stuff like that would probably enjoy something like this. And there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there that I'm sure will give it a shot. Neva Prologue teases more of first adventure between Alba and Neva. Mina the Hallower gets a gameplay trailer. For Loop says defend against an alien threat. Pragmata looked interesting. Looks kind of like what's that called? The one with Norman Reedus. Oh my God. Because he's in like a mech kind of suit and he's carrying a girl on his back. So it kind of reminded me of that game that Norman Reedus is in, and now I can't remember the name of it. Oh, there it is. Death Stranding. Yeah, that's right. It was right next. So Death Stranding 2 on the Beach will be released on PC early next month. Marvel Tokon, which is a Marvel fighting game. Those of you who like the fighting games, this looks pretty cool. New X-Men characters were announced for that. Wolverine, Storm, Magic, and Danger will join the roster as the Unbreakable X-Men. Rayman is getting a 30th anniversary edition, which launched actually already. An open world action RPG from Ubisoft's former Far Cry director called Project Windless. Open world RPGs are great. I love them. Dead or Alive new project teases that the dawn of a new chapter awaits for Dead or Alive. So that's your fighting games. Legacy of Kain. Wow, Legacy of Kain. The first new Legacy of Kain game in over 2 decades is coming out next month. It's kind of cool. Darwin's Paradox lets you become an octopus who wants to find their way back to the ocean. This is a cute little game. Saw the trailer for that. Yako Shinobi Ops aims to redefine shinobi action. Crimson Moon is a gothic action adventure RPG that wants you to defend humanity from hell. A little like Diablo, maybe. Brigandine Abyss is the next entry in the Fantasy Wars strategy RPG series. And that was it. So that was the stuff from State of Play. A lot of people were looking forward to that. I know some of the creators that I watched on their streams were hoping that they would get a sneak peek at the next Final Fantasy VII remake, but that didn't happen on there. So that'd probably be maybe something from Squaresoft, I would think, right? Like whatever Squaresoft does, I would think that they would announce that there, but nothing on the PlayStation State of Play. So, all right. Well, that is the Pixel perspective, and yeah, look, that's gonna, let's see where we're at here. Just over 2 hours. So there you go. That's gonna probably bring us to the end of the show. And I'm going to tell you this. And again, I've been contemplating this for a little while. But I think I'm going to change the ending. Because the lyric thing really hasn't hit off on anything. And it really hasn't hit for me. It's kind of like very, very hit or miss. So I'm going to save the end for the... remember how I used to have the DJ call in, right? Well, now, I changed that segment around a little bit, and I take that from your stuff, your responses to posts and things like that. I'm going to, and by the way, I didn't forget about the snappies. I just didn't have a chance to compile everything, so I'm still going to do the snappies. We'll do those next week, okay? We'll do those next week, I promise. We'll have my end of the year awards. And the nominations I will get out the nominations this week. So you guys will be able to vote by going to my X or going to my YouTube page. I'll have the surveys out there to take and to get all your votes for the Snappy Awards. So I'll have those for next week. But I think the end of the show in the future is going to be saved for listener question. Okay? I like how Cozy and Alex do theirs. I thought that's pretty cool. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just make it very easy, right? I'm gonna have I'll pick out and it doesn't matter. You guys just send them over to me. You can send them in. I'll put a post up on X every week asking for them. And again, it really doesn't matter what the subject is. If you want to ask me something about the game, or you want to just talk about the game itself, that's great. If it's not Snap related, that's great too. If you want to ask me about comics, if you want to ask me about, because I often talk about stuff that I've done when I was a younger kid. If you want to ask me about back in the day, you want to know about how it was growing up in the 70s and as a kid, or whatever the case might be. You want to ask me about horror films or music or anything at all. Or just, something about the podcast or something that you have a comment or something like that, or a question or something. So anything you guys want to have. I know we renamed the other segment, what do you want to talk about? But that's going to be primarily in response to Snap, the Snap topics. But this is just listener questions. So I'm going to have that be the ending of the show going forward. So I will put out a special post for it separately, and I'll put, okay, this is the post for listener questions for the week. So anybody who has any questions for me, and again, I don't care. We can talk about anything. Anything that happens to be on your mind about, any of the stuff that I talk about on the show. I know some of you have talked to me about pro wrestling because, listen, it really could be almost just about anything that I've got some knowledge of or I have some fandom for. Superhero stuff, movie stuff, whatever. Video game stuff. Again, anything related to the podcast at all. Or maybe it might not be necessarily related. So I'll put that out there for you guys. And you could comment, those of you that listen on audio can comment on Spotify with one of the questions or something. But put them in there, get them read out on the pod. That'd be a cool way to connect with you guys. I'd really be I'd be thrilled for the questions for the end segment. So I would appreciate that. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Snap Decisions, guys. But before I go, I am a proud member of the Snap Judgments League of Podcasts, which includes such amazing podcasts as Snap Judgments, which is Glazer's pod. Does that every week. He has some hosts that join him from time to time, which sometimes is Roy or sometimes it's Nick the Greek Geek, who I'm going to have back on my show, by the way. Nick and I have to catch up. But yeah, check out Glazer's stuff and all the work that he does every single day for you guys, getting those decks out there and everything like that. Such a cool dude. One of the best guys in Marvel Snap. So make sure that you go check out his streams when he's streaming, and also check out his videos and like the videos and subscribe to all that good stuff. And then of course also Snap on This with Lauren Whatevs, your host, Benjamin Roller, and It's Just three of my favorite people in Marvel Snap. And the podcast is just always a lot of fun. They'll go over OTAs, they'll go over new cards, they'll go over datamines, they'll talk about different things as well. They'll do some secret homework stuff that they do, which could be really about anything, other video games or things like that. I know Ree is producing a game of her own, so that's awesome. And Ree talks about comics quite a bit and stuff like that, so go check that out. That is out every single Friday, so go and listen to that. I know Lauren is extremely busy. Lauren's got another one that she's doing with Scott, I believe that is. I think they just had KM Best on there, which was pretty cool. I watched that on the YouTube channel. And so, yeah, so very, very busy. Very, very busy. And again, keep your eyes open. I will be having Prashan on my show. I will be having Burb on my show. And hopefully I will be getting some more people as well, whether it be some content creators, whether it be some other, Snap players, whatever the case might be. I might have my friend Scott, who wrote my theme song for the show, come back and join me at some point where we could talk about music a little bit with him. He and I share a lot of interests in music and stuff like that, and kind of get to see what he's up to and what he's been doing. So hoping to get him back on the show as well at some point. But yeah, so that is going to do it for this episode. I will publicize when I will be getting the YouTube thing going and when I will have the guests on. So I will let you know. Those will be on YouTube first. Because I want people to go over and check those out on YouTube, because you get to see our wonderful faces. But I will have those on my YouTube channel first for a couple days, and then they will be out on audio as well for you guys to listen to. Oh, by the way, I'm getting further and further on my audiobook, that the Project Hail Mary. Oh, God, it's so good. I can't wait to see the movie. I'm on chapter 21. I just started. I've got 9 more chapters to go, and it's been brilliant. So good. I'm super excited to go see that. I think it comes out in March. I will definitely be there as soon as I can get to see it. Probably, I don't know if I'll go day one, but probably like the Monday after, when I could go see a matinee. That's usually when I like to see movies, but I'm excited. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Scream 7 is coming out, I think next month. And then Project Hail Mary comes out in March. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be going to a lot of films this year, but I'm super excited to see that. So I think it's going to be good. All right. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Wherever it is that you may have listened to me on audio, of course, Apple or Spotify or wherever. And it is always on the YouTube page, so you can go check it out there too. And sub if you haven't done so already, and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's been a fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed it also. As always, please stay safe, be kind to one another always. Hope you had a great Valentine's Day and great Friday the 13th. I know I did. And hopefully I will see you all and talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ signing off.